everyone, Miss Courtney here. This week's workout we will be focusing on full body, but we will be using our bands. So I have two different bands here with me, and I borrowed this one from the studio, so this one might look familiar to you. This one is going to be a tube band with handles, and this one is going to be a heavy band. Different colors mean different strengths to the bands. And then also I have mini loop bands, and I ordered these ones on Amazon a long time ago, and they're still in great shape. And they range from extra light to extra heavy. So hopefully you do have a pair of bands at home. If not, you can just do all the movements that we will be doing without bands. I'll give you some tips and pointers what you can use instead. So with that being said, let's get to it.
Before we start using our bands, I just want to do a quick warm-up. So with our warm-up, we're going to do 30 seconds of jogging in place. And don't forget your breathing while you're jogging. Next, we're going to move on to arm circles, and it does not matter if you go to the front or the back. This is just a quick warm-up to get everything moving and our blood flowing to our muscles before using our bands. Next, we will be doing 30 seconds of jumping jacks. And just like our past video, if you cannot do jumping jacks, just alternate one leg in, one leg out. For our first banded workout, we will be doing a chest press. For the chest press, feel free to use a chair like I am doing here, or you can simply just wrap the band around you and push forward. I prefer using a chair just because it keeps everything in a line and it helps me keep my core nice and tight while I push the band out forward. For our next banded workout, we'll be doing bicep curls. So for bicep curls, you want to step on your band, make sure that your arms are parallel to the ceiling, and you want to pull up towards your shoulder while keeping your elbows tucked in nice and tight. Now moving on from our bicep, we'll transition into our tricep extension. With this, you'll have to play around with the band just to see where it is most comfortable for you. So I have the band under my knee, and then I actually grab the handle as a whole, and I keep that elbow tucked closely into my body, and I just simply push back and feel that squeeze every time you contract it forward and push back. And then of course you want to do the same thing on the other arm. I did 10 on my first arm, so I'll do 10 again on this arm. Now moving on to our bent over rows. This exercise targets our lats, which are the wings of our back, as well as our rhomboids, which is the muscles that surround our spine. So for this, you want to bend over, keep your knees bent, elbows tucked, and pull back. Moving on to our shoulder press, same thing that we did with our bicep curl. You want to step on to the band, find good footing, and then you want to transition your hands upward instead of being parallel with the ceiling, and just push up. Now remember, when you do step on your bands, the wider your stance is, the harder it is. The closer your feet are, the easier it is. Moving on to another back exercise. This one is the mid row. The band is a little bit too big for me, so what I do to adjust is I use the end of the handle and I just simply pull right there, and it is a perfect fit for me. Still keeping those elbows tucked in nice and tight. You want to squeeze the middle of your back. Moving on to our next exercise. This one is the band pull apart. And with this one, you normally use a TheraBand, but this band will work just as well. So you want to grab the band somewhere in the middle. Don't forget that the closer your hands are, the harder it's going to be. The farther your hands are, the easier it will be. So you just want to open and close and give that chest and part of your delts a nice stretch. And you want to do this nice and slow, focusing on holding in your core. Now transitioning down to the floor, but first grab your mini loop band, and you're simply going to put the band around the middle of your feet. Once you have the band on, go ahead and lay back on your mat or your soft surface, and then we'll do our bicycles. Now, if you want to challenge yourself even further, you can add in a crunch to this. With this exercise, you should feel it in your lower abs as well as your hip flexors. Moving right on to our next exercise, you can stay right on the mat and move your band above your knee this time, because we will be doing our glute bridges. And we do these in class all the time. So with glute bridges, you're going to raise your hips up towards the ceiling, but we're gonna get it a little bit more challenging, and we're gonna add in a clamshell. So with the clamshell, you want to move your knees out and in. Getting up off the floor, we will be doing our next exercise, which is going to be a squat with a side kick. Remember, you don't want your band over your knees, never pull on a joint, so have the band above your knee, and you're gonna squat down, kick that leg out to the side, and remember to hold everything in nice and tight. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Moving on to our next exercise, but sticking with our lower body, we're going to jump right into kickbacks. So you can feel free to use a wall or a chair, anything to hold on to. And don't forget to move that band down below your knees. Mine is a little bit closer to my ankles. You want it around your calf area, and you want to just keep that toe pointed, keep everything nice and tight, and squeeze when you get to the top. Moving on to our final workout of the day, this is going to be our isometric delt hold with a lift. So most important thing to keep in mind is to constantly keep those arms apart, away from each other. This is actually going to create the isometric hold, which simply means that your muscle is constantly working. So what we want to do is lift our arms as high as we can, come back down through the center, and return by our hips. Remember, you're breathing in and out throughout this whole exercise and really focus on keeping those arms apart from each other. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.